Hello everyone, welcome back to more Hearts of Iron 4. Off camera, I've spent a little bit of time going ahead in the African theater over here, which is now a thing. I've assigned these guys to be on a front line with what used to be Ethiopia and is now Italy. And in the north over here we have another army that is set to garrison Egypt and parts of the Middle East. You know, like Gaza and things like that. Then we also have the Asian theater over here, which is basically Singapore. And they're set to garrison that. Now if we go over to recruitment and deployment, you can see we are recruiting 6,000... we're recruiting 6 new colonial garrisons, 4 of which are going to join the southern armies here, helping to hopefully keep our border with Italy somewhat safe. And I have set them an offensive line to take over basically all of Ethiopia, just to secure it. And we're also sending 2 colonial garrisons over to Singapore over here. Ironically, we have Sir Arthur Percival here. You might think that he's not looking too healthy. Well, the thing about Sir Arthur Percival is that he's actually the historical commander of Singapore. And he was responsible for the largest surrendering and capitulation of British forces in a long time. It hurt their eastern pride, but in his defense, he didn't have that many troops. They weren't all that well trained. They didn't have as good an air force. The navy got wiped out pretty early on there by the Japanese. So we're gonna give him a second shot at it. And we will be sending him more troops. I have stationed some fighters and some bombers there. They will be deploying shortly. So that will be a-okay. But yeah, I have set the forces in the African theater and the Asian theater. I've set them to exercise. I've stopped exercising the people on the British theater for now, just to save on some equipment. I've basically sent all the planes back to the reserve, so we're not really in demand for any right now. So that means the Hawker Hurricane Mark 1s are all going into the supply depot now. They're all going into the reserves. We are actually making some Halifaxes right now. In between episodes I've switched over production from tactical bombers to the actual... what's the word? Never mind. I lost my train of thought there. Anyway, I've switched over production from the interwar bomber to the Halifax strategic bomber. I get a feeling we'll be needing a couple of those, so we'll start up building some efficiency. And we might have to use them to bomb the Reich, or Austria perhaps, or something. I don't know. We'll have to find out and see. Anyway, let's hit play. There we go. Actual things are happening. Let's take a look at Republican Spain and Nationalist Spain. The Republicans are surrounded here at Malaga, but it doesn't seem like they're being pushed in yet. And they have a port, so they're not going to be squashed out of supplies. Meanwhile, the Nationalists have some people behind the front lines here. They might be cut off. And it's still just a mess, but it looks, territory-wise, like the Nationalists are winning. Ever so slightly. World tension is at 3%. People are... Ooh! Improved machine tools! And the Soviets and Germans are sending more stuff to Nationalist and Republican Spain, so that's always going to be a mess. Is there anything we'd really want now that we have extra production cap? Okay, so it does stack. That's good. Now our production cap will be 45%. 65 if we wouldn't have our limiting factors here. Oh well. Let's take a look. Is there anything we'd like? Oh, we could go for resource gain efficiency. It would allow us to have even more resources. And I do believe we have a bit of oil in our territories. Let's actually take a look for that. Resource map mode. There we go. We have some oil in Alexandria. That's good. We've got some rubber down here in Uganda. A lot of tungsten and chromium in Rhodesia. And 168 chromium in Bechuana land. Okay. 116 rubber from Ceylon, a bunch of rubber from the British Raj over here, some oil from Assam. We've got some oil here from Abu Dhabi, so basically Arabia. That's good. Metric ton of rubber, tungsten, and a bit of steel from Singapore. Some more oil from northern Bombay. Oh, that's good. We'll be able to use that for the time being. Yeah, it's likely that that's gonna get cut off the instant, like, Italy, Japan declares war and takes that. Which is exactly why I'm trying to prevent that. But for now, I guess we can go ahead and get us some resource gain efficiency. Because we'll be starting to use more of that stuff. And it might be useful to have more. You know, as a precaution. Political power is getting up there. We'll soon have our development in Canada. In a couple of days. And then we'll get extra civilian factories over there, extra naval dockyards. Yeah, exactly. Allows them to provide a greater contribution in the event of war. You know, not that anything's going to happen. The only thing that's happened so far is remilitarization of the Rhineland. And people sending forces to help fight in Spain. Looks like the nationalists are attacking now. Over here. And there's just fighting all along the front line. It's a bit ridiculous. They have made some headway over here. They just took over Zaragoza over here, which is now their capital, I believe. Interestingly enough, they keep switching it around. And it's now back to Burgos. Right. Nationalists are silly like that. But they have managed to link their troops up over there. They might actually be able to cut Republican Spain in half. And then if they take over Barcelona over here, the Republicans will be out of supply, which would be devastating to them. I don't know, it's a weird war. World tension is staying very low, so we can't do anything. Annoyingly enough. Yep, the nationalists have managed to cut Republican Spain in half. And now those troops are surrounded. And now it's Republican Spain that's making a lot of headway. Probably because those provinces weren't, like, manned properly. So you can see it's a real mess of a war. As it was historically. I don't know, I just find this interesting to watch while our country is doing things. 25 more days until we have development in Canada, that's good. 13 days for dispersed industry, 14 days for construction too. Very nice. We can use that extra factory output. And of course it allows us to build more factories. There we go, Republican Spain is pushing back. They've nearly actually linked up with their units in Malaga over here. Although fighting is fierce. To say the least. Yeah, the Republicans are pushing back. That's funny. It really depends, like, whoever gets the most support is probably going to win. Amelia Earhart disappears! The most famous aviator, Amelia Earhart, the first woman to complete a solo flight across the Atlantic, has disappeared along with her navigator, Fred Noonan, near Howland Island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The two were attempting a flight around the entire world in their twin-engine Lockheed Electroplane when they vanished. A search for the missing aviators is now being conducted by the US Navy and Coast Guard, but there's little hope for finding them. So basically, historically, Amelia Earhart, when she tried to fly around the world, disappeared. And there is the possibility of her being able to actually land at Howland Island and making her flight across the world, which is pretty cool. But this is historically accurate. A loss for aviation. And there's dispersed industry. It's Burst Industry 3 is quite ahead of time, so we're going to be looking elsewhere for now. Could go for the Vickers A1E1 Independence, but it's a bit of a mess. Like, this is the tank that inspired the Russian T-28 multi-turreted design. It has a 3-pounder gun, which is 47mm, and then 4 auxiliary turrets with Vickers 303 machine guns, one of which could actually be raised up to attack aircraft. But yeah, it's a mess. It's slower than the Matilda. I'm still confused why they didn't put the cruiser tank here instead of the Matilda. Like, I feel like the Matilda is more of a heavy tank, because the Matilda was an infantry tank. It was meant to keep pace with infantry. The British had a weird doctrine where they had the cruiser line of tanks and the infantry line of tanks. And the Crusader here belonged to the cruiser line, for example, whereas the Matilda was definitely an infantry support tank. Oh well. Guess some balancing choices had to be made. You could also go for some companies over here, support. Or start investing in Marines. There's nothing really... Like, speed is the same, it also always takes like 180 days. Or we could go for interwar artillery or anti-tank. Though, having said that, we are probably going to count more on tanks to do our anti-tank rather than anti-tank guns themselves. I might get a token couple, but we'll see. We could go for a doctrine thing. Like, I don't know, what are we going to do? Could we go for a blitzkrieg ourselves? Do we want to go throwing firepower instead of... I don't know. I think it's fair enough to stick with Grand Battle Plan for now. We could get some extra planning. Division, and then focus on assault or infiltration. Yeah, let's not look at doctrines for now. It's a bit too far before the war to really decide. I'm actually tempted to go for maybe the Wellington. It's a good tactical bomber. It would help us bomb some people. Yeah. No, I think we'll just go with... I want to see what signal companies do. Maintain communication. So what do you do? I mean, let's go ahead and do it, just so we can see what it does. Spend 1 day waiting for construction tech. There we go. And I think we might go for excavation too then. Yeah, get us some extra resources. We can modify the government. Hello. Construction speed. Hi. You look pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Philip Kerr, silent workhorse, extra political power gain. We could have gone for manpower, but seriously, we need to mitigate our lack of political power, if you ask me. What we're probably gonna do next is wait a couple of days before we do our next national focus, so we get some more political power. We're not nearly getting as much if we weren't playing on veteran difficulty, so that's good. Gives us a chance to catch up. We have 3 civilian factories, which just cannot stand. We now have place for more factories, which is all good. There we go, build me a bunch more civvy factories. That'll do for now. What I then also like is... give me some military factories, make them highest priority. There we go. We're now producing 46 infantry weapons per day. We're getting there. Also producing 10 strategic bombers per year. Yeah, things are working pretty well now. National focus is complete. Let's just keep it going for a while. Get some political capital. Right, well, we'll be able to get ourselves some manpower at some point. Yeah, we do not have a lot of recruitable population, unfortunately. The Marco Polo Bridge incident. Japanese and Chinese forces have skirmished inconclusively over the strategic Marco Polo Bridge, located just southwest of Beijing. China has rejected Japan's demands for an apology and territorial concessions, claiming instead that the breaking point of Japanese aggression has been reached. Diplomats fear that the volatile situation could result in war at any time. Interesting times indeed. So it's very likely that after some skirmishing here, there's going to be war between Japan and China pretty soon. So that'll be interesting to see. How's Spain doing? A lot of pushing back and forth apparently. Still. Not that anything's changed over there. Everyone here is still trained. You guys are getting better. That's good. Political capital is going fast now, because of course we're not doing our political focus. It feels like a bit of a waste, but then again, I'd like to get manpower up soon. We can go for limited conscription, but yeah, we cannot get a lot of these, so it might just be a good idea to wait with that for now. Let's get ourselves a national focus back. What could we go for? Still can't go for Shadow Scheme. Or air defense or anything like that. What we might have to do is either develop one of our colonies, go for the Singapore strategy, or Hong Kong. Yeah, let's go for like, I know Australia's not likely to fall. Is there any... Oh, we'd get more civilian factories in the Raj though. Let's go for the Raj. Allow them to do more. There we go. We've built up some capital fast. Now with our 2 dudes, we'll be able to get our stuff back faster. I think if we... don't think it's possible to unassign people and get the cost back, so that's okay. We could eventually add someone for research and production, which wouldn't be a bad idea. But then again, I'm sort of hoping that we can get our volunteer loyals replaced with better ones. We could get extensive conscription if we had more... if we were at war, or we're not democratic, which is annoying. Service by requirement. Yeah. All adults serve. Ooh, that's very expensive. Scrape the barrel, even more expensive, and we do actually lose factory output with that. I think it might be a good idea to switch to limited conscription next though. So we have a bit more recruitable population, which should hopefully lead to increasing our recruitable population, which should then allow us to get 0.12% of that and hopefully get more manpower. I know, I'm still not liking this. Not a whole lot. And again, I'm playing on veteran here, so that does make it a lot harder. I think we just finished some civilian factories, that's good. Also finished our military factory, so we are now getting even more infantry equipment per day. We're down to a deficit of 6,000, which is not entirely unreasonable. You're filled for now. What do you mean you... Oh, you're upgrading the guys in Singapore, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Interesting. Though I definitely told you to be old school fighters, I guess. Huh, oh well. They are getting some Hurricane Mark 1s, so that's good. We'll leave that be for now. Switch back to default view. Ah, the Nationalists have finally managed to take over Malaga over here, which does give them an excellent supply base. So I think that will help them push into Republican Spain. Annoyingly enough, world tension is still very low, so we can't do anything. Never mind! Japan declared war on Jiangxi, which is these guys. Interesting. Does that mean... Yeah, they're now at war with China. So there are border skirmishes in Beijing now. World tension is up to 23% by Japan's outrageous declaration of war. We're nearly done developing the Raj, after which we will immediately try and do something that will be unavailable soon if the world tension goes back down. Now this also means that the higher the world tension is, the faster Germany can justify war goals on, for example, the Netherlands. Which is bad for us. But good for them, as you can probably imagine. Come on, develop the Raj. Okay, good, there we go. Still can't issue gas masks, so we can't get rid of military... So we can't get the military training act yet, annoyingly enough, but we can now go either for general rearmament, gains national spirit British austerity, which grants consumer goods factories -5%, so we have more factories to help us build. We can also go for air defense, shadow scheme. Let's get general rearmament first, because that will allow us to have more civilian factory output. Then we'll go for air defense. That will also get us more experience to modify the planes with. Bristol Blenheim research is finished. Lovely. Tempted to go for the Wellington to get ourselves a tactical bomber. No, I think it might be a good idea to start looking at our doctrine. I'm gonna go for home defense. There we go. Available planes in reserve, that's all good. Actually, we might go ahead to Singapore and station a few naval bombers, just in case. There we go. They should be able to help take out any invasion force, hopefully. And it might not be a bad idea to focus on actually building one of those. Let's not focus on dockyards right now, just regular things. What we can probably do is take away from the Vickers, our light tanks. We're now producing one Halifax per month. That's okay. It's not great, but it'll do. We are full on production for infantry equipment, so we're now trickling down the line, which means more support equipment. I want to keep some more Hawker Hurricanes being produced, because we are going to need a lot of those when the actual war starts, and providing a backlog, because they're still good planes, right? Hawker Hurricanes were historically in use during the Battle of Britain. Some Spitfires were beginning to come, but they were still very much on short supply, so having a large backlog of Hawker Hurricanes, not a bad idea. Especially seeing that we're not going to be able to produce as much as Germany can. General rearmament is going well, nearly halfway there. That's good. Nationalists are pushing further into Republican Spain. I think this is it. If the nationalists manage to take a couple of more ports, they'll have enough supply base and they're just gonna overwhelm Republican Spain. Which means we might have fascist Spain trying to take over Gibraltar. Not what we'd like to happen. But I'm not sure if there's much we can do, honestly. Actually, I'm pretty sure there is nothing we can do. We would need world tension be at 50% to send volunteers. Annoyingly enough. I mean, we like each other a bit. So that's good. But yeah, there's not really much we can do. They've just taken over more ports. They're now on a steamroll. They can probably just flank around and it's all ogre. You guys are getting some new troops assigned, which is good. We nearly have enough troops to actually hold the line. Excavation 1 is researched. That's great. More resources for us. 1.1 years ahead of time. So we're going to be switching out from that. Let's go for Marines. They have plus 50% attack on amphibious, plus 40% on rivers, and plus 30% on march. That will be good. Factory is still going up. That's great. 55 civilian ones so far. Let's get ourselves some more military factories. There we go. That way we'll be able to produce more stuff before the war happens, and that might very well be a good idea. Surplus of 7 oil. We're still exporting, so that's good. We're never gonna run out of rubber or anything like that. And we are actually exporting rubber, so we're getting some more factories back from that, which is great. Yeah, things are going well. World tension is going up. Italian claims in Yugoslavia. And Soviet Union sent a bunch of volunteers to China. Understandably so. Modify government. Increase recruitable population or get some armor research time. That might not be a bad idea. Not gonna lie. Or we could go for these people. I think it might be a industrial concern, or let's take a quick look at that, shall we? We have industry here, and this is electrical, I suppose. Yeah, electronic engineering, it's just regular engineering. We could go for this as increase our production efficiency gap. We're still going to get 35%, so that would put us at 70% capacity total, I believe, which isn't bad. We're not really building that many tanks yet, so that's fine. We can get military staff. We don't really feel like we need that for now. Anything that might be useful? Nah. These are just general ones. Yeah, I don't really feel like we need any more of these. We're getting a lot of political power from that, which will be very helpful. I think we actually might want to switch over to partial mobilization. Gives extra military factory construction speed. And we are above 15% world tension. Now I think I'm going to go with limited conscription. And now we'll see how... Ooh, 400,000 manpower, that's better. Monthly growth is hopefully going to be higher. But I still don't really think that's going to be a real big thing here. But at the very least, we have more manpower now. Like, we're not scraping the barrel. Even though we're not officially scraping the barrel. General rearmament. Good stuff. We could go for naval rearmament, get some navy experience. Or get a bunch of air bases and air experience. Yeah, let's go for air rearmament. There we go. And pretty soon we'll be able to issue gas masks. Because the world is heating up. It's up to 24% now. We can nearly actually guarantee people, which would lower the world tension, which is good for the Axis, bad for us, but we would be able to guarantee, say, Poland or Belgium. Free dockyards. Okay, so we have finished our capital ship. We could step up convoy production. Might not be a bad idea. And then what I'd also like is build me ships. We barely have any naval experience. Create a variant. Can we get some more anti-air against planes, which would not be a bad idea, seeing how destroyers and light cruisers are basically your anti-air escorts. I don't think capital ships really have capacity to do that. Yeah, they don't. Light cruisers? Yeah, they have a bunch of anti-air already. We could make them better at anti-submarine warfare. Extra sub-detection, bonus to depth charges. Or we could just flat out buff AA. I don't feel like that's a bad idea. Then again, destroyers aren't really meant to take on... Yeah, it's more light cruisers that you'd want for that. And then heavy cruisers, battle cruisers, etc., they can't get AA. I mean, they still have AA, but it's not going to be great. Yeah, what I think I'll do is I'll make a variant of you and go for extra anti-submarine warfare. We'll build like 20 of these. There we go. And hopefully by then we'll have researched better ships so we can switch production or something. I don't know. We'll see. They'll be done in like 2 years. Yeah, by then we'll have different priorities. Air rearmament will be a thing soon, thankfully. I don't think we can actually set these to practice. Probably for the best. We go ahead and create a new fighter wing. We'll have like 300 fighters, there we go. It's gonna take 6,000 manpower. High priority. There we go. We'll start filling these up before we start filling up Singapore. You guys will be in the Greater London area, providing air superiority. And interception. Radar efficiency is 93%. Oh, hello. That's pretty good. So that is taking up some of our manpower. Signal company. Very useful to have. And we are now in the year 1938. Welcome, welcome. That means we can get Improved Infantry Equipment 1. That might not be a bad idea after all. Extra soft attack for a lot of people. 1 day for excavation 2. There we go. These are still ahead of time. These are not ahead of time anymore. Hello, get me that, please. And monthly growth is still terrible. Although we're getting 1k every month, which is not too bad, I think. Yeah, no, it's pretty terrible. Free military factories, hello. That's good. We're working on swordfish. What I think I'd like is more hurricanes, actually. We need 400 for upgrades. Pretty abysmal. Yeah, actually, let's get more factories when we can. And then we'll prioritize these. We still have plenty of figures too, so not really all that hurry to make more of them. Our need for weapons is filled, which is great. I think we might tone that down just a little bit, get ourselves some more hurricanes. And an additional Halifax as well. So there we go. Things are being balanced, logistics are being built up. We have some basic equipment now, it's being phased out. Or we had some left, I'm not entirely sure. Support equipment is stockpiling, light tanks, good stockpile. There's some naval bombers still. A lot of convoys as well. Yeah, we're up to 927 convoys now, that's good. They're gonna be blown up, I'm afraid. Like, I'm gonna try my best to have them not get blown up, but we can't guarantee much, unfortunately. Nationalists have some pockets here surrounded, which is bad for them, good for the Republicans, but Nationalists are pushing down here. They've taken Zaragoza again. The Anschluss of Austria. After a successful coup d'etat by the local Nazi party in Vienna, German troops have crossed the Austrian border and have taken control of the country. No fighting has been reported, and the German soldiers were greeted by cheering crowds in the cities. In a speech before a massive crowd at the Heldenplatz in Vienna, Hitler announced the Anschluss of Austria, annexing the country into Germany. The oldest eastern provinces of the German people shall be, from this point on, the newest bastion of the German Reich. This violates the Versailles Treaty. Bloody Germans. World tension is up to 26% now. We can actually start guaranteeing people like Belgium. It would cost us 25 political power. What I think I might go ahead and do is either guarantee someone like Iraq, although I'm actually tempted to invade Iraq myself if there were to ever get any world tension up. Yeah, we need world tension at 100% before we can even start guaranteeing. So that's not going to be a thing for now. Yeah, world tension, it's going up. It's pretty bad. Should be able to issue gas masks after this, which would be all well and good. Means we'll be able to get even more national unity. Up to 90%, I believe. Which basically means we'll never surrender until they've taken nearly all our territory. Like, if we have Northern Ireland left as only thing or something. There we go. Air rearmament is a thing. Let's issue those gas masks. Extra national unity, and then we're one step closer to getting rid of the war to end all wars. Which would be very useful to get us some more recruitable population. Yeah. Oh, manpower is interesting to take a look at and see what we have. 1.8 of analytical core because of the effective total manpower modifier reduction. And also, new thing. No divisions in basic training. You're not training any new divisions. Tell me about it. I mean, we do have some people now, so I guess it might not be a bad idea to get some more tank brigades. We'll make 2 of them at the same time. We'll train them in London. We'll attach them to the home theater. There we go. We might actually want to go ahead and add some support to these guys. But we don't have the equipment right now to give it to them. It would give them a lot of reliability, which is not a bad idea at all. Engineer also gives a lot, actually more than Signal Company. But that's good to know. It reduces breakdowns and less attrition, etc. But yeah, this episode has been going on for a while, so I'm going to end it here. If you enjoyed the video, then please do leave a like down below. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment if you have anything to say, and if you want to see more, why not subscribe? Anyway, until next time, have a good one, folks.